morning and welcome. Morning. Welcome
Take
to
two.
Take Two. We're starting again on this one. Welcome to the Kindness Project on the 10th of June 2020.
Yes.
I am joined by a girl who has swapped the wheelie chair for a static chair because last time we were
I
recording
didn't want to
the
get kicked.
because last time we were in the office, I thought it'd be fun just to push her on the wheelie chair away.
Yeah, it was live on Facebook last Friday.
It's Charlotte Dames.
Hi, I'm joined by a man who likes to have discussions with me while I'm in the middle of eating my breakfast. It's Chris Dames.
Well, then I can enter into a monologue.
Monologue.
I don't know what a monologue is. A monologue, and then give you some thought about, like, you can give it some thought about how to respond.
I'm in the middle of eating.
Sorry, can you eat and think at the same time?
Can't eat, think and talk at the same time.
No.
I'm not that good.
No, neither can I. Today's is a short one because we've got an amazing show on Friday with a super special guest, the founders of kindness.org are coming on, not live because they're in New York and we're recording we're not, clearly, we're not in New York, we're in good old London town. Fist bump. But we're recording that interview Thursday night for the first bit of it to go out probably Friday, depending on how long it is. So that should be good fun.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on in your world?
Not much.
Okay, that's that done.
Yeah.
Question.
Although I would like to point out the fact that for the first time in pretty much forever, we have more Twitter comments on the question of the podcast than we do Facebook comments.
We have, yeah. Twitter quite enjoyed this one. I mean, it wasn't one of our most popular ones, but we are relying on our Facebook Live people to comment because the question of the podcast
Thank you,
is
two
today.
people that are watching.
Thank you. All two of you. The question of the podcast today is, forgot. If you were an act in the circus, what act would you perform in? What act were you performing?
Ringmaster.
Not lion tamer.
No, lion. You don't want to do that to lions.
Why? Oh yeah. Well, actually, you know what?
Lion taming is actually quite dangerous for the lions.
But you know what? In a lot of circuses across the world, animal husbandry is now banned, isn't it? You can't use animals. What would be the job you wouldn't want to do?
Clearing up after the animals.
What animals? I thought we'd said the animals weren't there anymore.
I know, but some circuses still have them, and it's like I wouldn't want to.
Okay, let me ask you a question then. Clearing up after the animals versus the person who gets to go on the spinny wheel and get knives thrown at them. What would you prefer? Because I'd prefer cleaning up after the animals.
Nah, chuck some knives at me. You're a professional. You can do it.
Chuck some knives at me as opposed to... So you'd avoid cleaning up poo just
You know
for
what? They're
somebody
a
to chuck
professional. They know what they're doing. They're not going to hurt me.
You better hope so. What else have we got on the show today?
So when I was planning this for yesterday, I was trying to come up with some topics of conversation. I was using all my normal methods, Googling what topics should I talk about. It kept giving me ideas for dates, which wasn't...
Dates?
Yeah.
Well, like dates, like sort of...
Yeah, what should you talk
Intimate
about?
dates.
Yeah. It was just
This is getting weird now.
It was like the general getting to know someone question.
Okay, what were the general getting to know somebody questions?
I can't resist them. Like how many siblings do you have? Like that sort of stuff.
I've got two.
Yeah.
Next.
I have one.
I know, they're both my children. This getting to know you stuff isn't working. Give me another one. Quite entertaining.
So the question I have written down is, what do normal people talk about?
Don't know.
Because I'm running out of topics of conversation, for
Yeah.
one. What do normal people talk about?
Same stuff as we talk about, surely.
I mean, I googled it and it's like politics and sports. When do we talk about sports?
We don't often talk about sports. We do a little bit of politics, but not loads.
No, we try and steer clear of
We
politics.
try and skirt both politics and sport, don't we? I mean, other podcasts can do politics and sport probably better than us.
Yeah.
So we'll leave that.
We're just like, happy.
Yeah, we'd rather keep it positive.
Please don't.
And probably less athletic than normal.
Yes.
Even though I talk about running a bit, but we don't talk about like sport that much, do we?
Nah.
So what else do normal people talk about?
I don't know. So if you're watching this...
Sorry, can I just be clear? How many seconds of research did you do on this particular subject?
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes yesterday around when I had a bowl of pasta in front of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can eat and do research for the Kindness Project and type at the same time.
Yeah.
But when it comes to eating, talking and thinking at the same time...
We have some answers.
Oh, cool.
I'm agreed with.
So Kay said she'd go on the spinning wheel with the knives thrown at her as opposed to clearing up after animals. Morning, Trev. Hope you're doing well. Morning, dude. Good morning to you.
The thing is with the animals and clearing up after them, like, because of the cruelty that animals often face within circuses, it wouldn't be just clearing up their poo, because you'd have to deal with, like, startled animals.
You do realise we go out at breakfast time, don't you? Can we like sort of change the subject a bit? Okay, what other topics you got?
That was it. I've been really struggling with topics recently.
This is going to be a super short show. Let's move on to Dave Forsdyke.
I've been really struggling with topics recently.
I'll do the ones for Friday. What are we going to do in terms of
Dave Forsdyke's RTBG.
Reasons to be grateful / silver linings / Dave Forsdyke's a legend / happy talk
So we have to keep giving it new names?
/
No, this is...
no, this is /
Did you ever think about...
/ did you ever think /
No!
no /
I just want to get on with the show.
/ I just want to get on with the show
Just let me get on with the show.
Let me get on with the show / oh, good laugh /
Hey!
Okay,
Monday
Dave.
the 8th of June, Silver Linings. Today's Silver Linings look at money. Whoa, oh, awesome. Money is always a delicate subject, and this may divide readers, as some households are suffering cuts to income, job losses, or being furloughed, while others are seeing their finances benefit from an enforced halt to much of their spending. Either way, most of us are being forced to spend less, and for the luckier ones, this means saving money or repaying debts. The Bank of England reports a huge increase in consumer credit being repaid. Whatever camp you're in, here's a list of things we've all saved money on over the last 3 months. Fuel. Not driving to work, to clients or meetings. I've still got half a tank from when I filled up in March.
Yeah.
Train and bus fares. Stop, please. I would usually travel into London by train 2 or 3 times a week and use buses to get to and from the offices. Food. Being at home means we're not buying coffee, lunches or snacks from cafes, fast food outlets or shops. Impulse buys. For those of us near shops, lunchtime or evening browsing is a temptation. Non-essential purchases. Not so much an impulse, but I think we're all guilty of convincing ourselves we need something when in reality we can live without it. Restaurants, cinemas and theatres. They've all been closed. If you're lucky enough to be saving, please be kind and generous to those who aren't. It's a good idea to continue some of the habits that have become widespread during the lockdown. Habits that have proven effective for saving money.
Yeah, I mean, certainly paying down debt is one of the things that you should do, particularly expensive debt during this period of time. So focus, if you've got some spare money, on doing that. But also, and I'd be remiss of saying this on the not saying this on the Kindness Project, if you can afford to, give to causes who need it. Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of charities and there's a lot of organisations out there who are suffering because of the coronavirus, because normally they'd raise money through events.
They can't do that at the moment.
So if you've got the spare money because you're not spending it on something else, I'm a firm believer, and we've spoken about this on the podcast before, in doing well and doing good, right? There's no issue with, in a democratic capitalist country, in earning money, working hard, building something, and becoming better off because of it. Mm-hmm. But I think if you do that, you've also got an obligation. Sorry, did we say we weren't going to talk about politics? And I've gone into a political rant. If you do that, you've also got a bit of an obligation to help other people. and certainly it's something we try and do, isn't it? And I'd encourage you, if you've got a bit of spare money now,
Tumble dryers.
that you're not spending on your wheels on your car on the bus. Please try and think about some good causes. And we've had some. Why are you doing a little dance while I'm going on my political rant? We've got some amazing causes that you can donate to. Sorry, am I boring you? We've got some amazing causes that you can donate to. Who we've interviewed on the Kindness Project throughout this period. So certainly. Save money, pay off debt, make sure you're in a better financial position, save for your own future, but get the balance right between helping other people as well. Because one of the things that I've seen and I'm really proud of in this period is how we've helped each other out. And I'm certainly going to continue to do that. Are you? Yeah. Apart from doing a little dance, why haven't you?
You said wheels on the bus.
Oh right, okay. Was that one of your? Oh right, okay. So yeah, please do that. Can I just give a big shout out as well to a lady called Bernadette Russell, who's been one of our first ever guests on the Audio Kindness Project. Came back on when we started doing Kindness Project Live, and has been really helping me out because at the minute I'm writing the Kindness Project book. And because she's had a couple of books published, she's been amazing with sharing advice, talking about the sort of things, and she's going to be helping me out a little bit with the book. So thank you personally, Bernadette, for all of the help that you've given me. And I think we just froze, just straight through that for thanks. So hopefully that worked. What else have we got to speak to?
To speak to?
Speak about.
Okay. Another set of silver linings.
Go on then.
Okay. A 10-year-old girl has sent more than 1,500 art kits to kids in foster care and homeless shelters since the lockdown began in March. Chelsea Fair, I assume this is Fair.
Fair, from Connecticut.
Connecticut started a charity last year to help kids enjoy art. Her art kits include markers, crayons, paper, colouring books, coloured pencils and gel pens.
Yep.
An anonymous window cleaner has been helping local businesses in the Great Yarmouth area by cleaning their windows for free. The mysterious Scott simply posts a note through the door saying, "I have cleaned your windows and all signage today so as to keep your establishment in tip-top condition so as to bounce back quickly when this is all over."
Amazing.
Another anonymous hero has paid for a cafe in Florida to make 100 sandwiches a day to go to the nearby hospital. The donations are at 40,000 so far and have helped to keep the cafe going as well as feeding hospital staff.
Absolutely love it. Have we got any more silver linings?
One more.
Today's one. And like Dave likes to, I think today's one is about music again.
Yes, it's definitely a plug.
We have turned into the Dave Forsdyke Appreciation Society, haven't we?
We have a whole section for it. We might have to change the name of it.
Should we just change the Kindness Project to the Dave Forsdyke Show?
No, we were going to change it to the Barry and Beryl Show. Do you remember?
Okay, got it.
I'm waiting to mention that for like 2 weeks.
Right, today's Silver Linings is all about music once again. Musicians can't perform to a live crowd at the moment, so many of us are finding different ways to keep playing and entertaining you. As a part-time weekend warrior musician myself, lockdown has presented an opportunity to learn some new skills in home recording, mixing and video editing. Here are my most recent efforts, and we'll make sure we put those in the show notes. Because Dave is a member of about 12,000 bands. So he's a member of, actually it's free, he's a member of Cover Story, he's a member of Kingdom Covers, and he's a member of the Almost Elvis Band. And he's done loads of amazing tracks over the lockdown period. Whatever music you're into, Dave says, spare a thought for the musicians who can't play gigs at the moment. Look them up online. The chances are they're busy doing something you can watch and listen to. Enjoy it. Now, one of the things, we went out in London on Sunday, didn't we?
Yes.
And one of the things that I really enjoyed, and it's weird how unusual it is to see this again, is we went to Camden. And we were wandering around Camden Market, which a lot was shut, but some was open. Now it's getting back there. And there was a young girl, young musician, playing her guitar, and she was a bit amazing, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she was good. What's next?
My news. Kindness news stories. Okay, that's the homepage. Sorry, I always forget which one's which. Oh, damn it! That was one of Dave's.
The problem is, when we haven't got an interview and you've got to do kindness news, it's like you and Dave are competing. Has Dave done this one?
No.
Oh, got him.
Okay, school's food drive to help those affected by looting in Minneapolis turns into tsunami of grocery bag deliveries.
Okay.
In an effort to help out a looted community, a Minneapolis middle school decided to hold a food drive. They expected a modest turnout, but what happened next was more than they could have imagined. The thousands of donations were far beyond the 100 grocery bags the school had hoped to collect when they first published the appeal on social media.
Yep.
It was shared so wildly that some of the donors even came from out of the state. Donations covered every inch of the ground of our parking lot, the grass everywhere, Sanford Middle School principal Amy Nelson told CNN. We had to also use a neighbouring park because we didn't have enough space here at the school to stack it up. The school community initially wanted to help its own families because they lived in neighbourhoods where grocery stores have been closed due to the damages from the protests. The line of cars bringing donations went for blocks and blocks in every direction from the school, and they just kept coming. We still don't know how much we received. When word spread of the amazing haul of food the school had taken in, hundreds of families visited the school seeking support. NPR photojournalist Evan Frost posted an incredible video on Twitter showing the scene, and that's available on their
Twitter feed. So thank you for that. So that's food, collecting food, schools collecting food for people in their local area who needed it. Yeah. So well done. What was the school's name?
It's on the article. I always forget to memorise this stuff. Give me pop quizzes. I'm like,
yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. My laptop's being really slow today, so
should we just wait?
Sanford
Middle School. Morning, Roberta, and morning, Stella. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're having a lovely day. Any other?
Yes. Former NFL players tweet and mobilises residents to clean up Phoenix after protests. An American football player is being praised for helping to heal a wounded community after his tweet brought a group of volunteers to downtown Phoenix to clean up the city. After being dismayed to see how peaceful protests turned destructive in his city's last weekend, Marquette King put out a call to action on the social media platform. I'm going to be in downtown Phoenix at 10ish with gloves and trash bags cleaning up the city. All races are welcome to come clean the city with me. Officers should come too. Let's get to know each other. Marquette played for 6 years in the NFL in the Oakland Raiders and Denver Broncos, and last played for the St. Louis Battlehawks in XFL. Do you know what that is?
No,
XFL?
I'm assuming it's some sort of football league, but not the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I've only ever heard of the
Sorry,
NFL.
we've already established we know nothing about sport, haven't we?
I'm trying to re-establish that. No, I'm just kidding.
XFL! Yeah, man, welcome to the XFL podcast.
We know what that is.
When we know what the XFL is, we'll start talking about it.
And you will stop with that horrible accent. I just went on Twitter and searched Phoenix cleanup, and I saw Marquette's post.
You know what? It's been really interesting because it's been a tough couple of weeks to talk about positive news because there's been so much negative news out there. And I think genuinely this is designed to be a bit of a counterbalance against that negative news, particularly when we see examples of people going out in the streets and doing something positive, you know, and having a message of coming together. Part of what I've really enjoyed seeing is the amount of videos that have been coming out, and clearly the ones that show police brutality or vandalism or any sort of crime being committed are not great. But what we've also seen is policemen reaching out to the community and saying, let's talk about this. Yeah. And peaceful protesters using their democratic right to do that.
There's a lot more peaceful protesters than there are looters and stuff like that.
100%. So I think it's really important not to lose sight of the fact that most people are generally good. Most people are trying to do the right thing. And the news has a tendency across the world to focus on the worst elements.
Yeah, definitely.
And we shouldn't judge our global perspective on the world based on the worst in the world, should we?
No.
What should we judge it on?
Good stuff.
Good stuff. That's it, done.
Yeah. So, answer to the question of the podcast.
Answer to the question of the podcast.
Get rid of one of my stories because it was.
Because Dave pinched it. So answer to the question of the podcast, what circus performer would you be and why?
I did have it open, but you just clicked off it.
We had some amazingly funny ones. So the first one was Catherine Knowles said she'd be a contortionist. I'm being a bit contortionist with my tongue at the moment because she's got hypermobility syndrome. So she's got little strength, but she can move her body into really strange positions. She just needs a slight kick to get her back to normal. Eve Keith said she'd be a bearded lady because #lockdown. MB, I don't actually have a beard, honest. Now, I've been wondering, I mean, it's too late now because we're coming out of lockdown, but I've been wondering whether a beard was the lockdown fashion choice of...
We tried to convince you to grow a beard 2 years ago.
I know, not happening.
We tried to convince you to dye it white and dress up as Santa.
And then the HMSA charity, which is the charity that focuses on hypermobility, just replied to Catherine and said, "Please, sir, can you pass my arm back? No, not under that leg, under the other leg," which I thought was quite funny. And then in terms of the answers, Russell Dames, our esteemed producer, would be a lion tamer. And Roberta White said nothing to do with animals other than feeding them.
That sounds about right, yeah.
And on that note, have a lovely day. Short one today, but hopefully it was fun and useful. And we'll see you next time on the Kindness Project.